Good morning, my dear JEE warriors. This is the second week of the 2-week challenge. We started this 2-week challenge for all the aspirants who are preparing for the second attempt, the April attempt of JEE Mains 2024. And a lot of topics have been covered already in the first week. Every day, 2 classes. So lots and lots of things to gain. And if you have been following the Flash series, or even if you're watching the recordings of it, trust me, you are on the right path and gain maximum knowledge as much as possible in the last few days. And after this 2-week challenge, we'll come up with mock tests and more problem solving series, right? So stay tuned on the channel. So this is your Captain Shreyas going live. I hope I'm audible as well as visible. Do let me know in the chat box quickly. Yep, very good, very good, very good. Looks like I am. Hello Supriya, hello Jaswant. Hello Aishwarya, hello Chiti, hello Kavya, good morning, good morning. Nice to see all of you, Likit, Sri, Niti, hello Gryffindor team. Good morning, my dear warriors, good morning. Welcome aboard, welcome aboard. Let me just get my pen, right. Perfect. And mark your attendance quickly by hitting that like button down there. Yes, it's right there. Show your love and support. This is the #1 JEE English channel for all the students. And let me also tell you, a lot of students, especially from Andhra, Telangana, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Kerala, benefit a lot from this channel. Many students from Assam, West Bengal, and many northeastern states benefit from this channel because hardly anybody is doing this kind of work on YouTube. So make sure you love and support this. Thank you so much if you have subscribed and if you are liked. And let me tell you, I'm coming everywhere to meet you. 21st March in Pune, 23rd March in Vizag, 24th March in Hyderabad, and Tamil Nadu. The dates will be announced very soon at our offline centers, Vedantu offline centers, Vedantu learning centers, where you get the best of the best teachers and the best of the best content, and all of this in a digitally equipped classroom, along with all the smart features which are very new to the offline coaching industry. Let me tell you that. Okay, these classrooms are one of its kind. You experience it, experience the doubt counters, because this is not any ordinary doubt counter, right, which you might have heard of. Also the facilities like libraries, the the teachers out there, academic mentors specially kept for you at the centers. Everything is focused towards your growth and your well-being. This is very, very important. Just marks, yes, it is important, but just marks alone is not enough. Your overall well-being is also very important. Your culture, how the students, how the teachers, the teacher-student ratio, everything is so well maintained. You will see the size of the classrooms are not big. They are very, very decently placed so that you do not feel crowded and you have good teacher-student interaction and you get that personal attention. All of this in our Vedantu learning centers. It's spread across the country. Links are there in the description box. Check it out for joining our classrooms, right? And if you have any friend or colleague or batchmate, do let them know about these centers. Remember, the link is there down in the description box. So let's begin with the lecture. Yes, I'm going to come in Guntur. Maybe not now, Deepak, but I will definitely come very soon. If you want me to come to Guntur, all the students from Guntur, please fill up the form. If I see few hundred entries, I will definitely make an attempt to come over there. Okay, I want, because if I come and if I meet only 1-2 students, I mean, it will not work out for me. So please make sure that you have at least some 100 students. Talk to your friends, talk to the nearby villages, towns, and if you can get them, make them fill the form. I'll definitely come to Guntur. Every city is close to my heart. Every student is close to my heart. And I want to visit all of you. Not just for meeting, but I want to really mentor you. I really want to push you towards the good college. And if my presence makes a lot of difference, I definitely want to meet all of you, right? Okay. So let's quickly revise 1D, then go to 2-dimension, then relative. All the 3 major things we are going to do in today's lecture, okay? 1D, 2D, and then the relative motion. Yep, right. Let's begin with the lecture. Now, remember basic definitions. Position is nothing but the current location of the particle. It is generally expressed in coordinates, x, y, and z. right? Then when the particle changes its position from one place to the other, it is said to displace. It might travel along a path. The length of the path is distance. The shortest line joining the initial and the final position is called as the displacement. Displacement is always less than the distance, or at most equal. If you are not going in a curved path, if you are going in a straight line path, then distance and displacement are equal. Next important thing is velocity and instantaneous velocity. If you talk about average velocity, that means how quickly you are displacing per unit time. So the total displacement, that is the shortest distance, upon the time taken is delta x by delta t, or delta of the position. X is position in 1D. If it is 2 dimension or 3 dimension, then instead of x you will have r. R is the general symbol used for the position. It will have some x component, some y component, and maybe some z component. That will give you the total displacement upon the total time, will give you the average velocity. This time interval is huge. It could be 1 second, 0.5 second, 1 hour, 10 hours, few minutes. But if you take the time interval very small, then it becomes instantaneous velocity. Whenever they use the word just velocity, remember they are referring to just instantaneous value, not average value. If it is average, they will mention it is average. Usually velocity means instantaneous. Same way you talk about acceleration. Whenever the velocity changes, the rate at which the velocity changes is called as the acceleration. That means how quickly the velocity changed. Either the magnitude will change, or the direction will change, or both will change. In all these three cases, remember what are the three cases? Either my speed increase from 20 kilometers per hour, 40 kilometers per hour. Okay, or the direction change. I'm going at 20 kilometers per hour, but I change the direction without changing the speed, or I'm changing the direction and also changing the speed. In all the three cases, the body is said to accelerate. So average acceleration is the total change in the velocity upon time taken. So delta v by delta t. But if you make the time small, then the change will also be small. So you will get the instantaneous acceleration, which is dv by dt. Also the second derivative of the position. So derivative of position gives velocity, derivative of velocity gives acceleration. Graphically, derivatives also means slopes. It also means slopes, right? So when you have position versus time, the derivative of position time gives you velocity. So if you draw a tangent to the curve, the slope of the tangent gives you velocity. Derivative of position time gives you velocity. That means slope of position time gives you velocity. Similarly, velocity times derivative, velocity with respect to time derivative gives acceleration, meaning the slope of velocity versus time graph. That means you draw a tangent to the curve, the slope will give you basically the acceleration at that instant. Remember, for velocity time, the area under the graph gives you the displacement. So if you end up measuring the area under this particular graph from, let's say, here to here, if this is the area which you measure, the area under the graph gives you change in position. Change in position means displacement, which means displacement. Remember one thing, area under this graph gives you nothing. Position time area gives you nothing. But if you take the area under acceleration time, then you will get the change in the velocity. So it is not shown over here, but I can draw it for you. If this is acceleration and if this is time, and let's say the acceleration is changing like this, and somebody measures the area. Over here. This area under the acceleration time, gives you the change in velocity. Meaning delta v, not v. It is delta v, change, not the actual value. So it is area under acceleration versus time. Gives you change in velocity. This graph's area gives you nothing. Keep these things in mind. Everybody with me on this? Perfect. In fact, I generally give my students a simple flow chart saying this is position, this is velocity and acceleration. This makes the job very easy. So if you go from here to here, it is basically you are finding the derivative of x with respect to time, which is nothing but the slope of x versus time. If you go from velocity to acceleration, then it is nothing but the slope of velocity versus time, which is just given by dv by dt. If you go reverse from acceleration to velocity, it is nothing but area under acceleration versus time gives you the change in velocity, and that is integral of a dt from time t1 to t2. So that is how you go up. You do the exact reverse process of derivatives, which is antiderivative or integration. Same way, if you go from here to here, you will be basically finding the area. You will be basically finding the area under the velocity versus the time graph, which is nothing but the change in the position, which is given by integration of velocity with respect to time from, let's say, time t1 to t2. Another additional information which you might need at times is this acceleration. This acceleration, yes, is dv by dt. You can also write this as dv by dx into dx by dt. This is chain rule. dx by dt is velocity. So this will be dv by dx into velocity. Sometimes you might have to use this relation if you don't want time in the answer, or you want to get rid of time from the equation using chain rule. Correct? These are all the basic mind maps which you should know. Moving ahead, by the way, if you are thinking, sir, will you be giving these notes? Answer it in the chat box for the sake of others. Where will you be getting the notes? I want to listen it from you. Yep. Hello Kavya, hello Supriya, very good. Yes, Chakradhar, hello. Hello Drama World. Wow, what names you guys come up with. Oh yes, you want the strategy for BitSat? Why not? I will be definitely giving you a proper strategy for BitSat. But right now, please focus on JEE Mains. I'll tell you why. Right now, there is good amount of time for BitSat to be over. Main thing is JEE Mains. If you study for JEE Mains, you are automatically, theoretically and problem-wise preparing for BitSat and CUET and any such exam. Once you are done with the theory, trust me, practicing more papers of individual exams is all that you have to do. Okay, so that is the main target for the next 3 weeks. Just focus on completing as much as you can, because after April comes, then you will lose that opportunity. You cannot learn new things, because every day, every week, some or the other entrance test will be there. Either JEE Mains will be there, CUET will be there, some MIT exam will be there, VIT exam will be there, BitSat will be there, again second attempt will be there, again JEE Advanced will be there. Oh, it's just exam. So you will not have time, even if you feel that, sir, my boards are over, sir, my college is over. Trust me, it doesn't work like that. Okay, the whole mindset will change. You will experience it for yourself. Okay, then when we talk about equations of motion, which is V is U plus AT, S is UT plus half AT square, V square is U square plus 2S, or the displacement in the nth second. These equations are only valid only and only if one condition has to be true, and that is acceleration is constant. If acceleration is not constant, then you have no other choice but to use derivatives and integration. There is no other way. Okay, keep that in mind. Then using these equations, remember, you can find velocity, acceleration, etc., whatever is given. The main trick to solve the problems is always draw the diagram. Always draw the situation. Always draw the situation or situations. Maybe the car is accelerating, then braking, or one car is approaching another car. So initial, final, where will it be, how will it look like after some time? Show everything. Okay, mark everything. Use proper sign convention. If you miss the sign convention, then you will definitely get wrong answers. So that is why show everything, draw the situation, use the sign convention properly, and ensure acceleration is constant. You will get everything that you wanted. Okay, now when we talk about vertical motion under gravity, which is a direct application of these kinematic equations, certain points that you need to keep in mind. Certain points that you need to keep in mind. Yes, Chakradhar Danish, JEE Mains is the godfather of all other examinations. When you prepare for JEE Mains and Advanced, you prepare for every exam apart from that. But what are the additional things you need to do? I'll make a special video on that. Okay, for now, please concentrate. Gravity always acts downwards irrespective of whether the particle is going up or down. So when I throw this object up, the velocity might be going up, then it stops, then it turns, but acceleration is always going to be downwards. Okay, it's the velocity or the position which might change, but acceleration never changes when you are near the surface of the earth. It is constant and the value is 9.8 meters per second square, which you approximately use it as 10 meters per second square, which can be at times also converted into pi square meters per second square. Why? Because pi is 3.14, you square it, you will roughly get it close to 9.8. You can do it on the calculator also and see. And this helps us in easier calculations sometimes. Okay, if pi is there in the question or in the formula, then you can eliminate or get rid of that pi, especially in simple harmonic motion, right? You will see that. Okay, Srihari, this class will be close to 1.5 to 2.5 hours, somewhere between that. Next, magnitude of acceleration is this much, although we have said this. Okay, at the top of the point of the motion, velocity momentarily becomes zero. So when you throw something at the topmost point, what becomes zero? Velocity. Whenever velocity becomes zero, remember, is the direction which changes. This is not only true for vertical motion, but also true for horizontal motion. Example, a car is going like this. The velocity is here. It is retarding. Acceleration is, let's say, that side. Acceleration is that side. Velocity is this side. So the car goes like this, stops. It is accelerating this way. So the speed will reduce and it will stop. And once it stops, it turns and it again accelerates like this. So whenever velocity changes the direction, you will see at some moment, the value becomes zero. At some moment. And okay. So before that, the speed will be reducing. After that, the speed will be increasing. So there is a change of the direction. The upward and the downward motions are symmetric. Yes. So when you calculate the time to go up and you calculate the time to go down, it is same. If you throw it with 15 meters per second, it will go, stop, and again return back at 15 meters per second. So whatever happens while going up happens while coming down. For a given problem, you can choose any direction as positive. That means sign convention. So if you take upwards as positive, then acceleration due to gravity will be negative. If you choose downwards as positive, then acceleration due to gravity will be positive. So it's your choice. It's nothing like you have to choose down only positive. No such hard and fast rule is there. But if you choose some direction, make sure you stick to it for the entire length of the problem. Or else part of the problem upward is positive, part of the problem downward is positive. Acceleration you have taken some sign convention, velocity you have taken some other sign convention, will make sure that your answer is wrong. So stick to the sign convention, don't change it. It is always better to show an arrow mark on the side so that you remember at the back of your mind what is positive, what is negative. Preferably choose the positive direction, the direction of the motion. So preference generally makes it simple. If it is going this way, choose that as positive. Don't be that rebel saying, sir, that is going positive. You only said no, anything you can take positive. I will take this as positive. Unnecessarily, you will have to think, oh, velocity is here, acceleration is here. Oh, is this positive? Is it negative? It will confuse you. So whatever is the direction of the motion, preferably choose that direction as the positive direction. Is that clear, my dear warriors? Very good. Very good. Right. Moving ahead now to some questions. Ready for some questions, my dear warriors? Let's start solving some questions, because just if you learn the theory, right, it will definitely not be enough. A particle starts from rest with uniform acceleration. The velocity after n seconds is v. Then the displacement of the particle in the last 2 seconds is. Okay, let's draw the diagram. First, the particle starts from rest. Okay, it starts to accelerate. How much acceleration I don't know. And it accelerates. And after n seconds, so that means t is equal to n, the velocity has become v. So From this particular piece of information, I can use V is equal to U plus AT. Initial velocity is 0, acceleration is A, time is basically n. So therefore, V is equal to AN. V is equal to AN. That is the first piece of information we got. That is the first piece of information we got. Everybody with me? Very good. But that's not the question. The question is displacement of the particle in the last 2 seconds. Now see, last 2 seconds means what? If this is t is equal to n, at some point the time would be n minus 2. Time would be n minus 2. This point to this point, if you calculate the displacement, if let's say this is the displacement till this point and the orange one is still n seconds, the difference of the two is what has been asked. The displacement of the particle in the last 2 seconds. This is what has been asked. This is the question. So how do you find that? You find this, subtract this with this, you will get the answer. Correct? So the displacement in the last 2 seconds will be nothing but displacement till n seconds minus the displacement till n minus 2 seconds. Is that understood, my dear warriors? Till this point? Okay. Okay. I hope this is very, very clear, my dear warriors. Awesome. 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 Now, the next thing is what you need to do is substitute the values. Sn, displacement till n seconds. Use ut plus half at square formula. U is 0 because you start from rest. Ut plus half into acceleration, I will put it as a, time is n, so an square. This is the first term. Minus, again use ut plus half at square but till time as n minus 2. Initial speed is 0 plus half into acceleration into time is n minus 2 square. But wait a minute, I can do one small thing. I don't know acceleration, and from here I can very well see that acceleration is v by n. Acceleration is v by n. I can see a by 2 here, a by 2 here. So why not take it as common? Why not take it as common? Half a, and a value I will substitute it as v by n. And then what am I left with is just n square minus from here n minus 2 square. That's all. N square from here and n minus 2 square from here. Now this is much simpler to solve. This is much simpler to solve. So I can find very easily the displacement. So this will be v by 2n, and here I will have n square minus n minus 2 whole square, open it up, n square plus 4 minus 2 into 2n. So it will become minus 4n right over here. So n square cancels. You can take 4 outside common, and I think you should get 2v into n minus 1 by n. 2v into n minus 1 by n. Is that right? 2v, yes, into n minus 1, right? Perfect. By n. Perfect. That's what you exactly get. You will get 4 common outside. 4 by 2 is 2. V is there on the top, and minus minus becomes plus. So n minus 1 will be there, and here again n will be there below. That is the answer. That is how you solve this particular question. This kind of question has come in the JEE and may come in the JEE Mains. Keep this in mind. Very good. Is this enough to crack JEE Mains, or I have to refer to this chapter again? Positive vibes. See, if you have studied 30-40% of the chapter, or 20 to 40% of the chapter around, and if you are watching this video is good enough to crack this particular part of the of JEE Mains for the next attempt. But having said that, just don't watch and then move on. See, if you watch anything is not enough. You have to practice the questions. So after this video, please take up a book, at least solve 20 questions after this video, so that you get some confidence. Is that okay? Also, if you don't watch this video and directly jump to the 20 questions, you might not feel confident. I don't know how to solve it. I am taking a lot of time. So for those 20 questions, you might take half a day. So to save your time, that is the reason why I am coming, explaining you, revising the concepts, making you see some problems, PYQs, non-PYQs, and then with that level, so from 20% I'm taking you to at least 70%, 80%. So the remaining part you can do it as self-study. Understood? Good morning, Raja. Let's move on to the next question. In 1D motion, the relation between position and time is given by x square plus 2x is equal to t. Choose the correct option. Let's see how many of you can get this. These type of questions are very, very common in JEE, let me tell you that. Okay. So first of all, here x is not a function of time, rather time is a function of x. That is the strange part. See, usually what you are given is like x is equal to t cube plus t minus 4, like that. So you differentiate x, you get velocity. You differentiate velocity, you get acceleration. But observe the equation carefully. X square plus 2x is equal to t. So it is a little bit strange equation. It is a little bit strange equation. So what you need to do in such a case, I'll tell you, very easy trick. See, I'll just differentiate this with respect to x, meaning derivative of x square plus 2x is equal to derivative of time with respect to x, differentiating both sides with respect to x, not with respect to time. That is what you need to pay attention to. This is a slightly reverse problem, a strange problem, off problem, and these are very common, let me tell you, in JEE Mains. Okay, now what you need to do next? Derivative of x square is basically 2x. Derivative of 2x is just 2. dt by dx. Why do you understand what is dt by dx? Wait a minute. Do you know what is dx by dt? Yes, it is velocity. So dt by dx will be inverse of velocity. So it is actually 1 by velocity. So technically speaking, velocity is, flip this, 2 will come common, 2 upon 1 by 2 into x plus 1. This is what you get the velocity as. Is this part clear? Is this part clear, my dear warriors? Right? So if you want, you can also write this as x plus 1 whole raised to minus 1 divided by 2. If you want to keep it on the top, because next step will be again taking derivative, because we have to find acceleration of the particle. So is option C correct? Uniform velocity? I don't think velocity is uniform. It is definitely changing. So option C is definitely cancelled out. Now the next step is finding the acceleration. Now the acceleration which is dv by dt. Acceleration which is dv by dt. Can I directly find the derivative, or do I have to use chain rule? I think we'll have to use chain rule over here. I'll have to use chain rule because this is a function of x. So remember that chain rule, dv by dx into v. dv by dx into v. I just told you some time back. So just use that. So differentiate velocity with respect to x and then multiply by the velocity. So dv by dx, meaning it will be derivative of, that half will come outside. So half will come outside, derivative of just x plus 1 whole raised to minus 1. The whole thing into velocity. The whole thing into velocity. Let's see what happens next. This will be equal to, half will come as it is. Now when I take the derivative of something raised to minus 1, use x raised to n formula. So minus 1 will come outside, the power will reduce by 1. So it will become minus 1 into x plus 1. Minus 1 will make it minus 2 into velocity. Wait a minute, velocity is nothing but this value, 1 by 2 into x plus 1. 1 by 2 into x plus 1. Perfect. So what will I get the acceleration as? Just check this out. 1 by 2 into 1 by 2 will make it 1 by 4 with minus sign. So minus 1 by 4. This x plus 1 will come below. So x plus 1 whole square. And I have one more x plus 1 over here. So this will become minus 1 by 4 times x plus 1 whole cube. X plus 1 whole cube. Yes, the retardation. Why retardation? Because of the negative sign. Yes, it is retardation. And how much is the value? 1 by 4 into x plus 1 cube. That is the magnitude of it. Isn't it a fascinating thing? Yes. Avinash, that will never be the case. They are teaching everything, right? This is a proper crash course where everything is being taught as your one-shot classes. Please remember, these are, your last minute crash courses. So it will be taught in that particular manner only. And I'm pretty sure they are taking up all the problems as well as they are touching upon all the concepts as well. Definitely, if there is still some problem that you have, please send me whatever it is on captain_Shreyas or Captain Shreyas on Telegram, or you can also write into vcare@Vedantu. Whatever you have any issue, please let me know. I will look into it. Okay, my dear warrior. Right. Yeah. Sir, why we multiplied with the velocity? Because Chakradhar, the reason is velocity was a function of x. If velocity is a function of x, I can't differentiate it with respect to time. See, I'll give you simple thing. Imagine explanation. Imagine velocity is 3t square. If I have to find acceleration, I can take derivative of this velocity with respect to time, and it will be easily written down as 3 into 2t, which is basically 60. Is that right? But imagine acceleration was, sorry, velocity was 3x square. How do you find acceleration? You cannot say, I will differentiate this with respect to time. So you use chain rule. So what did you do is you divided by dx and multiply by dx, and this dt is as it is. This part is nothing but velocity. So that is why you differentiated this with respect to x, which is basically 2x, and this became velocity. So this will become 6x into velocity. That is how you do the problem. Understood? So when it is a function of time, it's easy, but when it is a function of x, you have to use the chain rule. Divide by dx, multiply by dx. When you multiply by dx, dx by dt will just become velocity. Is that clear? Why we didn't do so Sn plus Sn formula? Supriya, for the previous question, very good question you guys are asking. I'm proud of all of you. Why did I not use displacement in the nth second, sir? Sir, you gave the displacement in the nth second. See, displacement in the nth second is valid for the last second. This is last 2 seconds. So be careful. Be very careful. So when you use this particular formula, Sn is equal to u plus a by 2 into 2n minus 1. This refers to, imagine a particle is going like this. Particle is going like this. And this is t is equal to n, and this is t is equal to n minus 1. This displacement is what you get as the displacement in the nth second. This is the formula for that. But in this question, in this particular question, it is from n minus 2 to n. It's a gap of 2 seconds, not 1 second. So when the gap is not 1 second, you cannot use that formula. You have to go back to the basics. That's why derivations become important, especially certain derivations you must know, like how the displacement of nth second comes. If you know it, you will immediately realize, oh, it was only valid for 1 second. When it is 2, 3, or 4, or 1.5, or 0.5, or 0.7 seconds, I cannot use that. So that's why I went through the basics. Are these things clear? Everyone with me? Yeah. I'm so glad you guys are asking so good doubts, so nice doubts. I'm really, really proud of you, and keep asking such doubts, because this means you are on the right track and you will not do these mistakes in the exam. Imagine you would have used that formula, or you would have done it in a wrong way in the actual exam. You will feel bad. You are now going to be in the situation where you're like, okay, thank God I got to know this now, and I'm not going to do these mistakes. All right. See, I was just telling you about this particular type of question, and I said this comes many times in JEE. This is one such example over here which came this year itself. Again, see this type of question. Time is a function of x, not x as a function of time. So whenever you see such questions, you realize that you have to be a little bit careful. So what will you do? You will again differentiate this with respect to x, not with respect to time, just like we did it over here. Just like we did it over here, differentiate it with respect to x. So do the same thing, you will get the answer. So differentiate this with respect to x. Differentiate this with respect to x, alpha x square plus beta x, right? So dt by dx will not be velocity, it will be 1 by v. So that is the catch. Dx by dt was v, so dt by dx will be reciprocal of velocity. This will be alpha into 2x plus beta. So therefore velocity will be 1 by 2 alpha x plus beta. So once you get this, Once you get this, you can easily find acceleration. Acceleration is dv by dt, but you cannot differentiate this with time because it is x over here. X variable is there, so you will use chain rule. You will write it as dv by dx into dx by dt, which is velocity. Are you getting it now? Are you getting it now? So now you differentiate this, my dear warriors, d by dx of this whole thing. This whole thing is actually 2 alpha x plus beta raised to minus 1, and differentiate this 2 alpha x plus beta whole raised to minus 1, and then you put velocity as it is. Differentiate this and see what do you get. Differentiate this and see what do you get. You should get it as minus 2 alpha v cube. Minus 2 alpha v cube is what you should get. Got it? Now the process is clear. Just like we do for logarithmic diffraction problems. Yes. Can we add Sn minus 1 and Sn? Yes, Supriya, you can do that. That will be also a correct way of doing it. Sn minus 1 plus Sn will give you the answer for the first question that we solved. Perfect. No issues with that. Yep. Cool. But I feel that this was much easier, just subtracting these two. But yeah, even that will be easier only. I mean, it will not be so difficult. Cool. Let's move on. Let's move on to the next question. Two balls equal masses thrown up along the same line with a gap of 2 seconds. Interval means gap. With the same speed also, then the collision height will be. Very nice question. What is the collision height? What point do they actually end up colliding? There are many ways to solve this. There are many different ways to solve this. So let's say, for example, you project this particle with a speed of 40 meters per second, and it starts going up, up, up. I don't know where it is going to collide. I'll just show some random thing, right? And you have thrown it from the ground surface right over here, and you threw it at t is equal to 0 seconds. The other particle, let's say you have thrown it, after some 2 seconds. So time is basically 2 seconds. That's when you throw it with obviously the same speed as before. So that means 40 meters per second. It will go up, maybe somewhere here it might collide. I don't know. I'm just assuming something. So this is the point where they collide. Example, this collision happens over here at t seconds. Now, please understand, if the collision happens at t seconds, the collision happens for t seconds. The first ball was in air for t seconds, but the second ball was not in air for t seconds because there was a 2 second delay. So it was in the air for 2 seconds less. So that's why the time of flight will be t minus 2. The time of flight will be t minus 2. Is this clear logic? If you start now and you throw the ball, it is going up somewhere. Okay, maybe it collides, with the second ball at 9th second or on 9 seconds. The second ball is thrown after 2 seconds. So if the first ball was in air for 9 seconds, the second ball will be in air for 2 seconds less than 9, which is 7. So that's why the time of flight will be t minus 2 seconds. Is this very, very clear? Hello, sweetie. Yes, Disha, please do session on solids and fluids. Solids I have already done. Fluids, please watch my older class. Fluids is a very, very low weightage chapter. You can check out my Zero to Hero or Superhero series for fluids. Fluids is very, very low weightage. Max to max 2 questions, that too from 4 chapters. Fluid statics, fluid dynamics, viscosity, surface tension. Out of these 4, max to max 2 questions will come. That is the reason why you can keep it on low priority. Okay. So what do you do next? What do you do next, my dear warriors? Just think about it. When they collide, their displacements or their, y coordinates will be equal. So the y coordinate of particle 1 will be the y coordinate of the particle 2, which is displacement. So use S is ut plus half at square, nothing more. This is displacement. Displacement is ut plus half at square. U is basically 40 into t plus half into acceleration due to gravity is down. So minus 10 into t square is equal to, over here, initial velocity again 40, but the time will be t minus 2 plus half into acceleration due to gravity minus 10, and here you will have t minus 2 square. If you notice in this entire equation, only one variable is there, and that is time. Solving this particular equation, it's not that difficult. You solve this equation, you will definitely get the time. Once you get the time, what you will do is you can find the height. Basically, you can find y1 or y2, one and the same thing. So y1 will be, use this equation, so 40 into whatever time you get plus half into minus 10 into basically t square, Solving this, you will get the final height. Just check. If you get the final height as 75 meters, you will get the height as 75 meters, and check if you get the time as 5 seconds. You should get the time as basically 5 seconds over here. So put this 5 over here. Is that clear? This is how you're going to solve this. Why t minus 2? Can you again explain, Supriya? Simple logic, my dear friend. See, I throw one ball up. It is going up, okay? And maybe after 2 seconds when I have thrown this ball, okay, this ball goes up and it collides somewhere here. Somewhere it collides. Let's say, they collide after 9 seconds. Example. So 9 is t. 9 is basically t. But the second ball won't be in air for the 9 seconds duration. First ball will be in air for 9 seconds. Second ball is thrown after 2 seconds. So how much time will it be in air for? It will be in air for 7 seconds. So if this is for t seconds, the second ball will be for t minus 2 because of this time gap. Is that okay? Now clear? First, I feel that you should complete 11th standard in the vacation as much as possible, side by side, but do not ignore 12th. Just don't do 11th, just don't do 12th. Keep it side by side with a proportion of 70% 12th, 30% 11th, around that. Okay? Right. Thank you, Tech Agarwal. And your way of writing awesome is very nice. It's like ocean. Okay, cool. Let's move on to the next question, guys. A body is released from the top of a tower, height h meter. It takes t seconds to reach the ground. Where will the ball be at t by 2 seconds? Of half the basically total time. Where will the ball be? All right. So let's look at it. Yes, breaking distance problems also we are coming, Mohesh. Hold on, we are doing all kinds of variety of questions. Okay, so first of all, when you drop something like this and it falls down and hits the ground over here, falls by a height h and the total time taken is t, then using s is ut plus half at square, s is ut plus half at square, s is basically h, u is 0 because it is dropped, plus acceleration is g, into time is basically t square. So therefore h is equal to gt square by 2. That is what I get. From this you can rearrange and you will get time is basically root of 2h by g. That is what you are going to get. But the question is not that. The question is, after t by 2 seconds, where will the ball be? So after t by 2 seconds, somewhere here, maybe the ball will be here. This is the displacement. Here the time is basically t by 2. How much will this s be? Use again s is ut plus half at square. U is 0 plus half into g into t by 2 square. So the displacement will be half into g into t square by 4. So 1 by 4 will be there. T square means root of 2h by g whole square, because the value of time is root of 2h by g. So this will become g by 8 into root will go off, so it will become 2h by g. G cancels, 2 cancels, it will become h by 4 from the top. H by 4 from the top. So if it is h by 4 from the top, it will be 3h by 4 from the ground. 3h by 4 from the ground. So be careful. The moment you see h by 4 in the exam, you will mark this under stress or tension. But you need to be little careful and read the entire statement. Just because you get something as the answer does not mean wherever you see it in the option, without even looking or reading completely, you mark it. Be very careful. Sometimes in the question they will say from the ground at what height will it be, but in the options it is not there, and options will be h by 4, 3h by 4, h by 2 or something like that. So you might say h by 4 and immediately mark it. Don't do that. These are silly mistakes. These are silly mistakes. Is that clear? All right. Sir, can I use Sn when nth time will be given? Yes. Sn only use it when the question mentions very clearly displacement in 5th second, displacement in the last second, 5th second, 4th second, then you use it. When the time gap is 1 second, otherwise don't use it. Okay? If the time gap is 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 0.5 seconds, do not use it. Use S is ut plus half at square 2 times. Clear? All right. Great. Moving on to the next question. Vehicle goes this much speed, another vehicle goes this much speed, the average speed, same vehicle will go for different distance with different speed. What is basically the average speed? Now these kind of questions, guys, are again very common. You will see that. So for a particular part of 4 kilometers, it is going with 3 kilometers per hour. Another part of 4 kilometers, it is going at a speed of 5 kilometers per hour. So what you need to do in such questions to find the total average speed? The total average speed is the total distance by the total time. Now the total distance is obviously 4 plus 4, which is basically 8, but the total time you need to be little bit careful. Remember speed distance time formula. Time is distance by speed. Time is distance by speed. So this entire journey can be divided into 2 parts. This part is time t1, this part is time t2, this part is time t2. So this will become, numerator is 8. Time 1, distance by speed. This time will be this distance by this speed. So it will be 4 by 3. This time t2 will be this distance by this speed. So it will be 4 by 5. That's the catch. Many people make a mistake somewhere over here. So it's all about time, distance, speed formula. Now you can take 4 common. So it will become 8 by 4. And you will have 1 by 3 plus 1 by 5. 8 by 4 is basically 2. And here you can take LCM. LCM is 15. So this will become 5 plus 3. So this will become 2 divided by 5 plus 3 is 8. 15 goes on the top. So this will become 15 by 4. So 15 by 4 is option A, I believe. 3.75. Yes, correct. So 15 by 4 is option number A. Is that understood? How to solve these kind of questions as well? Very good. Let's move on. Let's move on to the next question, my dear warriors. Get ready for lots and lots of questions. Show full josh, full energy, and also keep smashing the like button in case you haven't done that. If you have not given your Guru Dakshina, if you have not marked your attendance, all this knowledge is of complete waste. So make sure you are doing that. Cool. Moving ahead to the next question on your screen. Velocity time graph of a body moving in a straight line is shown in the figure. Ratio of displacement to distance is how much? This was asked in 2023. First of all, whenever you have velocity time graph, area gives you displacement. Keep that in mind. So start calculating the areas everywhere. So if you see, these areas will be positive areas, the one over here. So what is this particular area? You can see base is 2, height is basically 8. So this will be 16. This one again on the axis it is, so it is positive area. Base is 4 units, height is 4 units. So again this is 16. Whatever is there below will be always negative area. Base is 2 units and height is 6 units. So 2 into 6, which is basically 12, but it is negative. This one over here, base is 2 units and height is 4 units. So this will be basically 8 units. Now, when you calculate displacement, please understand, you will have to take the positive areas with the sign, negative areas also with the sign. So it will be 16 plus 16, but these areas will be counted negative, minus 12, minus 8. Is that clear? That is how you will count the displacement. But when you count the distance, then it doesn't matter. Even if you are going in the negative direction, it will add up in the distance. So it will be still 16 plus 16. The negative areas do not subtract it, just add it. 12 plus 8. Understood, my dear warriors, how to do it? Yep. The first red area is incorrect. Oh, I think. Sorry guys, this is 2 into 4 units. My bad. I am seeing it as 6 units from here. My bad. Thank you. Thank you for pointing it out. This was 2 units into 4. Sorry, my bad. So this will be basically 8. So over here and over here. Yeah, this is also 2 into 4. Yes, this is also 8. Yeah, this is also 8. Then this is also 8 and this is 8. Is this fine? Everybody with me? Yep. Is that clear? Everybody with me? What will you get the answer as now? Calculate this S. Calculate this S. 16 plus 16, 32, 8 plus 8, again 16. So it will become 48 over here. And over here, what do you get the distance as? Oh, sorry, this is going to be 48 and this is going to be with minus sign. So this will just be purely 16. This will be just purely 16. So 16 and 48, that's the ratio 1:3. Option number B. Yep. Clear? Very good. Raja, Tanishka. Yes, awesome. Supriya. Very good, Sanjay. Awesome. Moving ahead to the next question coming up on your screen. For a train engine, this is, I think, a question on braking distance, which is also a very popular question. The driver must apply brakes 500 meters before the station for the train to come to a complete halt. The brakes were applied half of the distance the train engine would cross the station with what speed? Beautiful question, which is asked in JEE 2023. Two situations are obviously going to be there. The first situation is, imagine the train goes like this and stops over here. It stops over here, and during this it is retarding. It already has some velocity v, and this distance is, let's say, x, or let's say, oh, you can call it as d also. Okay, you can call it as d. Now in this part, whenever braking distance questions come, use the third kinematic equation, because time is not generally involved. So preferably use the third equation. It will make it look very simple. So using v square is u square plus 2as. And by the way, this velocity was also given to you as 20 meters per second. Using this, final velocity 0, initial velocity 20, but it is retarding, so minus. So it will technically be 2 into minus a into the displacement, which is basically d. So shift it over here. So 2ad will be 20 square, which is basically 400. Keep this as it is. I will not touch it right now. I will see whether I need a, whether I need d or ad or 2 into ad. Whatever I need, accordingly I will modify and I will use that particular part. Till this point, everything is clear? Till this point, everything is clear? Very good. Okay. Now, the next part of the problem. If the brakes were applied after half the distance, obviously the retardation won't change. The brakes will again produce the same retardation. But what will happen because of that? Because you have delayed it, so you will not stop at the desired spot. You will end up reaching that spot with some speed. So that is what is going to happen. So now you are still again going with same 20 meters per second. But this time the distance traveled is not d, it is d by 2. So you will have some residual velocity, which I call it as v. Question is, what is that particular velocity? That is how you will understand the question. That's why I always say, please draw diagram. Show situations, mark everything, assume signs. So that's why I'm showing correct arrow marks. So here also it will be retarding. Here if I again use v square is u square plus 2as, v is v, u is 20, acceleration is negative, and distance traveled is no longer d, it is d by 2. It is d by 2. So this will become 400 minus, this will become minus 2ad by 2. Now see, this is the best part. 2ad is already 400. 2ad is basically, I know it is 400 value wise. So instead of that, put 400 over here, put 400 over here. So this will be nothing but 200. 400 minus 200 is just going to be 200 as it is. So that is v square. So v will be root of 200. Take 100 outside the root, it will become 10 root 2 meters per second. 10 root 2 meters per second. Is that clear, my dear warriors? Is that clear, my dear warriors? So speed is 10 root 2, but I think the question said the speed is root x. The speed is root x. So from here, you can see v is root of 200. So the value of x that you will put is basically 200. The value of x that you will put is basically 200. That is the correct answer. Is that clear? Perfect. Sometimes in braking distance, what they do, they modify the question slightly and they give you something called as reaction time. Imagine they give you a question like a car has a speed of, let's say, 20 meters, and driver's reaction is example 2 seconds, and the braking which is produced is, let's say, 10 meters per second square. So question is, what is the braking distance? What is the braking distance? This kind of questions can also come. Here this braking is given, that means the retardation is given. So in such questions, understand what will happen is, for the first 2 seconds, the car will continue with the same speed of 20 meters per second. The car will continue with the same speed of 20 meters per second. Nothing will change from t is equal to 0 to t is equal to 2 seconds. So in this portion, what is the displacement that is going to happen? So the displacement which is going to happen is just velocity multiplied by time, because there is no retardation happening. You have not yet braked. You will take some time to react. So you will go with the same speed. So it is just 20 into 2, which is basically 40 meters. After this is when the braking starts and you will come to a complete halt. And in this part, use v square is u square plus 2as. Here the retardation produced is 10 meters per second square. So final velocity 0, initial speed 20, acceleration is minus 10, and displacement I don't know. Bring that over here. So it will become 20s is equal to 20 square. 20 cancels. So s will be basically 20 meters. So this is 40, this is 20. So what will happen, my dear students? The total braking distance will be 40 plus 20, which is 60 meters. Got it? Yes. So this is how you solve these kind of questions where reaction time is involved. In the reaction time, you have not yet pressed the brake. It takes some time for the brain to respond, your legs to move and actually apply the brake. So you continue going with the same speed, because of which additionally you travel some distance. This can cause lot of accidents if you don't react very quickly. That's why today's cars, they come with automatic braking. You might have seen ADAS functions. So the moment some collision is about to happen, the car automatically brakes. The intelligent cameras and all those things, sensors, will react even before the driver reacts. So you can reduce the braking distance and the impact and the collision. Correct? So that is that one. Oops, sorry, I showed the answer by. Oh, I think the answer is there on the wrong slide. Okay. And the answer is marked where the space is left blank. Okay, no issues. Now I know you know the answer, but we'll try to solve it assuming I don't know the answer. Okay, so a body starts moving from the rest with constant acceleration. it moves S1 in first P minus 1 seconds, S2 in the first P seconds. Displacement S1 plus S2 will be. Okay. Now, first of all, read the question and tell me, can I or can I not use 𝑠nth formula? Yes or no? I know, Sanjay, 2 seconds is too much. I chumma took some values just to make you understand. Okay. It's some lazy driver. He was checking his mobile phone. Maybe he was watching some reel or replying to somebody. So that's why the reaction time can be 2 seconds. I have seen videos where reaction time is infinite seconds. That means you didn't realize only that I had to brake. You are still looking somewhere and the collision happened and the driver was flung. After that, you realize, oh, accident has happened. So then the reaction time is infinite because you can think about it. You did not react only till the collision happened. Okay. So what do you think is this answer going to be? Is 𝑠nth formula applicable over here? Or do you think I cannot use 𝑠nth formula? Can I not use 𝑠nth formula? I should not use 𝑠nth formula. Why? Because where does it mention last second? It says first P minus 1 seconds. Don't get confused just because you see P minus 1 sir, 1 second sir. No, we cannot use just because you see n minus 1. It is in the first P minus 1. Say P is a number. Take P as any number. P is, let's say, 11. P is, let's say, 11. So P minus 1 will be what? 10. P minus 1 will be 10. So first P minus 1 seconds means from T is equal to 0 to T is equal to 10. Is this 1 second interval? Definitely not. These are 10 seconds. So you cannot use 𝑠nth formula. The first P seconds means first 11 seconds. Chumma they have worded it in that way that many students will use 𝑠nth formula. This came in JEE 2024. Got it? So you have to use S is ut plus half at square. S is ut plus half at square. You cannot use 𝑠nth formula. Okay. So when I say that, body starts from rest with constant acceleration, covers displacement S1 in the first P minus 1 seconds. So if this is P minus 1, this time, this was T is equal to 0. This is rest. It is accelerating. So the displacement 1 using ut plus half at square will be 0 plus half into a into P minus 1 whole square. Similarly, if again at T is equal to 0, you start from rest and you begin to accelerate, and this is T is equal to P. The displacement in this case, S2 in the first P seconds will be ut plus half a into P square. What is S1 plus S2 going to be? Let's try to think about that. So if you have a total displacement of S1 plus S2 with the same acceleration, this is T is equal to 0, you start from rest. Okay, so the question is, in what time will you make this? In what time will you make this? This is the question. Did you now understand what is the given data, how I represented it, use the appropriate equation, got few equations. Then I went to the final part where I have not yet completed the question, don't worry. I have just seen the question and just shown the diagram. Now we'll use equations and see whether I need these two equations for getting my final answer. Cool till this point? All right. Yes. For revising, you can definitely use Tattva, definitely theory, because that is very crisp and precise. If you do not have your own notes. If you have your own notes, please use your own notes. Don't use any book for revision. Only use Tattva when, at this point of time, when you have not made your own notes and there is only 2-3 weeks before the exam. Tattva will be the best guiding book for you. No other better book, because it is in points, all formulas, concepts, diagrams, charts, everything. Okay. So what do you do now? S1 plus S2, you add it. S1 plus S2, if you add it, what and all will you get? From here you will get a by 2 into p minus 1 whole square, and from here what do you get? You will get basically ap square by 2. Okay, let's see what do you get now. So a by 2 is common, p minus 1 whole square is p square plus 2p, sorry, not plus 2p, minus 2p plus 1, and from here I'll just get p square over here. I'll just get p square over here. So solving this, s1 plus s2 is coming out to be a by 2, or basically half a into p square plus p square, 2p square plus 1 plus 1 minus 2p. You know, this is very interesting. Look at this. This equation is of the form displacement is equal to half into acceleration into basically time square. Looking at these two equations, immediately you will conclude time is nothing but this whole thing's root, or time square is 2p square plus 1 minus 2p. Rather, time is just root of 2p square plus 1 minus 2p. 2p square plus 1 minus 2p. So that is nothing but your option number D. Got it? That is how you get the answer. Yes, you just have to compare after this. You just have to compare. Half a t square, it is of that form. That's it. So whatever is there here will be the square of time. So time will be the root of it. That's all. So the question is, number one, confusing because of the wordings used. Number two, it looks scary because of these variables rather than values. Okay, whenever variables come, and that to p minus 1, p, this, that, and some algebra is there, you might have to manipulate in mathematics. Going ahead to the, yes, a juggler is throwing a ball vertically up. Juggler questions are also very common. You are trying to solve as many varieties. Same speed in the air, all the objects which is throwing. The first ball reaches the highest position. He throws the next ball, assuming the juggler can throw n balls per second, the maximum height the balls can reach. He's throwing n balls per second. Okay. So, first of all, my dear warriors, what will be the time taken by any ball? What will be the time taken by any ball? Let's say this is his hand. He throws it with certain speed. What will be the time taken by any ball to reach the topmost point? To reach the topmost point. Let's try to think about it. Let's try to think about it. The time taken to go up, let's say I call it as t, will be just given by u by g. Will be just given by u by g, right? And he's throwing n balls per second. That means his frequency is also given. So if he throws n number of balls per second, this is basically your frequency of throw. Frequency is nothing but 1 by time. 1 by time, because by the time this ball reaches here, you are throwing the next ball. So that means this n is 1 by the time taken to go up. 1 by the time taken to go up, or just this particular time. So therefore, n will be equal to 1 by, put the value of time as u by g. So therefore, n will be nothing but g by u. N will be nothing but g by u. Is this part clear, my dear warriors? Very good. Now, question is not this. Question is, what is the maximum height reached by the balls? So use the normal projectile formula. Maximum height is u square by 2g. Maximum height is u square by 2g. From here, what do you get? From here, what do you get? U is basically g by n. U is basically g by n. So put g by n over here, and the rest things as it is. Square and put 2g. So it will become g square by n square into 2g. G cancels. You will have g by 2n. You will have g by 2n, which is there as option number, n square, my bad. I think I missed one n square over here, my bad. So g by 2n square. Yes, that is the answer. G by 2n square. Correct. Yes. Very good. Zoom meeting for the DPP questions, I would suggest please make use of the crash course. Link is there in the description. It's just for 999 rupees. You get chapter wise assignments, DPPs for all the things. Tests are there, part tests are there, plus full syllabus tests are there, plus lectures are also there, plus Tattva is also there. So I mean, the best quality content you will be able to get, rather than, you know, downloading some material from here, this here, that here. Errors are there, whether it is correct, wrong, or the quality of the questions are correct or fine, or too hard, too easy, or not relevant. All these doubts will not be there. Just use the link which is there in the description. If you have not used it earlier, please download it right now. Okay, it's there right over here in the description box. JEE Mains 2024 second attempt crash course 2.0. You can see, like I said before, it's just for 999 rupees, and it is also valid for JEE Advanced. Not just that for mains, but also advanced questions, assignments, the Tattva material you will get. So best is to use this resource, all right, because you'll be assured that you are getting quality content. You are not getting some random things or irrelevant things. Okay, cool. So let's move on, my dear warriors. Let's move on, my dear warriors. Yep. Yes, these type of questions are only there. If you are asking, sir, give me these quality of questions, give me more variety. Exactly this and even more variety is going to be there in these assignments and these books. Obviously, you can test yourself in the mock test. All right. Let's go to projectile motion. See all the questions over here. Projectile means you are throwing it at an angle, and the influence is only by gravity. No other force like air resistance or wind force, etc. are counted. And the motion is a parabolic path. It is a curved motion, like you can see over here. In this particular motion, you will see that the velocity is divided into two parts, u cos and u sin theta, and the speed reduces, becomes less but never becomes zero, and again increases and returns back to the same speed u while landing on the ground. Yep. Yes. Now, because the acceleration due to gravity is down, there is no force or acceleration in the x direction. That's why this u cos theta always stays as it is throughout the projectile motion, and that's why at the topmost point the speed is never zero. It is always u cos theta, the horizontal component of it. At the topmost point, it is the vertical component which is zero. So the speed is still u cos theta, which is x component, which is always going to be constant, but it is the vertical velocity Vy which is going to be zero. Can you use kinematic equations here? Definitely. But you can use it separately for one dimension in x and another dimension in y. You can use, you know, kinematic equations separately, like 1 over here for x and y. Okay. So as long as acceleration is constant, you can definitely use it. Using those equations only, you get the time of flight. In fact, it is double the time to go up or double the time to come down, because again the motion is symmetric. Time to go up and come down is the same, just like your normal vertical motion. Correct, my dear warriors? And the total time comes out to be 2u sin theta by g. Theta is the angle of projection. Horizontal range is u square sin 2 theta by g, and height is u square sin square theta by 2g. These are the three major formulas. For maximum range, theta will be 90, no, it will be 45 degree. For maximum time, theta will be 90 degree. For height to be maximum, theta will be 90 degree. So remember, the angles are different for it to be maximum for both range, flight, and, you know, height. So height and time will be maximum when sin theta is maximum, which is 1. So theta will be 90, and range will be maximum when sin 2 theta is maximum, which is 1. So 2 theta is 90 or theta is 45 degree. Also keep in mind the ranges for two angles which are complementary, like 20, 50, 37 degrees, 53 degrees, 45, 45 will be same. So whatever range you get for 30 and the range you get for 60 will be the same. Yes, the time for which they stay in air will be different, but the range will be the same. Maximum height will be different, time will be different, but the range will be same for complementary angles. That's why, like I said, it will be around 1.5 to 2.5 hours. Yeah, from 11 o'clock, that means close to 1:30 max. Yeah, right. Yes, the JEE Advanced is also a part of the crash. So once you clear mains, obviously you will be a part of JEE Advanced. If you don't clear, then obviously you won't be, right? That's how it is, Sanjay. Yep. So if you want to score about 90 percentile in the second attempt, what can I do? Hyperking, why don't you do one thing? Put up that same question in the comment after the video is over. I'll reply to you properly. Okay. Next, another equations which you need is the equation of trajectory. Equation of trajectory means an equation relating y coordinate and the x coordinate without the usage of time. There is no mentioning of the time, and it is x tan theta minus half g is gravity, x square by u square speed square into cosine square theta. You can condense this formula into this formula, which is x tan theta whole brackets 1 minus x by r. R is obviously the range. Some additional features also I have given. In fact, these are not to be memorized, but you will see these are actually problems. If T1 and T2 are the time of flights for two projectiles for complementary angles, you can prove this. You can also prove this. These please do not memorize. I'm saying these are actually problems. You will see in many books, you can see these are one of the first few problems which are given for complementary angles. Okay. Then you have projectile from the incline, projectile from the hill, and all those concepts. In fact, I think I'm not put projectile from the hill formula. Let me put that formula over here. So if you are on a hill and you throw a projectile like this with speed u, it will go and fall over here, let's say, and this is basically your height h. You will see throughout the journey the horizontal speed will always remain. The horizontal speed will always remain as u. It is only the vertical speed which slowly gains over here like this. So this will be Vy. Here Vy is going to be 0. Here Vy is going to be u plus at. U is in the y direction, which is 0. Acceleration due to gravity is g, and t is the total time of flight. So it will be basically gt. You can also get this Vy from another equation, which is Vy square is uy square plus 2ay sy, and from that you will get it as basically root of 2gh. Root of 2gh. That is your y velocity. Remember, this u is your x velocity. So actually speaking, your total velocity will be at an angle. Your total velocity will be at an angle which will have y component as well as the x component. Keep this in mind. Now, regarding the time of flight and other things, so the time of flight is simply put root of 2h by g, just like dropping a ball from the top, and the range which you get, this particular range, this range is horizontal speed which is always constant into the time of flight. So whatever time of flight you get over here, substitute it, you will get the range from the foot of the hill. You have to take g negative? No, you don't take value of g is negative. Remember, g is never positive or negative. The sign of that g comes outside of it. So whenever you see these formulas, never will you substitute g as minus 10 or plus 10 or g as minus 10 and plus 10. No, the value of g is always 10 meters per second square or 9.8 meters per second square. The sign always comes outside of it. So like over here, how did I decide that it is plus and how do I know it is not minus? Here, while using this kinematic equations, unknowingly I have taken the downward direction as positive. So that is why all the vectors in the downward direction will be positive, including g. G is down, so I have taken plus 2gh. If it was upwards as positive, then it will be minus g. But you know what will happen? Even the displacement will be negative because it is going down and I have taken upwards as positive. So minus into minus will again make it plus. So no matter what signs you choose, answer will be the same. A sign convention, not signs. Whatever sign convention you choose, no matter what, the final answer will be the same, but follow the sign convention for each and every variable. That's all I would say. Is that okay? Oh, 𝑳𝑨𝑽𝑬, I was your physics teacher in 11th standard. Is that so? Wow, nice. Well, that's a long time you have been. My God, suddenly I feel so old, right? I'm so glad you are sticking to your commitment for last 2 years. So I really hope that your hard work pays off, because if some student has been religiously following something and religiously been doing something, I really hope such students, get whatever they desire. I hope, luck is on your side, and also the paper is also on your side. Really hope that you get a very, very good college. All the students who are preparing for the last 2 years, 1 year, more than 1 year, you are putting in a lot of hard work. You have a lot of patience. Hope it comes true. Now, projectile motion on a plane, there are two major formulas for up and down. And whenever you see projectile on an incline, remember most of the times it is just formula based questions. So one case is up the plane, meaning you're throwing it from below. It goes like this and falls here. It gets interrupted at this point above the ground level. Another case is you are projecting it from up the plane, meaning you're throwing from here. It goes up and falls below the level at which you have projected. So those are the basic two cases of projectile on the incline, up the plane and down the plane. Yes, Namah Shivaya 8. Oh, okay. Sorry, I couldn't read your name. So I think I can call you just Shivaya. So yes, I am coming to your cities. So Hyderabad 24th, Vizag 23rd, and Chennai, Trichy, Pondicherry, all the major cities very soon. Okay, the dates I'll announce. But make sure you're filling up the form which is there in the description box, because if I see a lot of students, then only, I can ask for the travel arrangements to be done. And it's not just meetup. Let me tell you, it is going to be a workshop where we'll have strategy sessions, one-on-one interactions, your personal mentorship, everything. Yeah, it's a free workshop. Don't think that so we'll ask money. No, it's a free workshop completely. Right. Thank you for all the love from Pondicherry. And I know there is a batch of students I know who watch from Pondicherry. There are some 20-30 students who watch it from a school or from a place at a given point of time. And I'm really happy that sometimes, you might say, sir, okay, 100 people are watching live or 50 people are watching live, but sometimes that one person watching live is actually a classroom full of some 20-30 students. And I think this happens from Pondicherry, if I'm not wrong. Okay, and I'm pretty sure it might be happening at other places too. And thank you for your love, and thank you for, supporting this channel and believing in us, because I believe in you. And I know that I'm coming here only for one simple thing, and that is improving your marks, getting you your dream college. And when that, thing matches, the vibe is correct, 100% things will be towards the final goal, and you will see the results will be achieved. Okay. Thank you, Namasha. Thank you, Acquire Knowledge. Let's move on to the next question. The next theory. Bottom to top projection. That means you're throwing from the down. It goes up and gets interrupted at a level which is higher than the bottom point. Okay. So there are these formulas for time, height, and range. See, you can by heart these formulas. By hearting will not take much time. Problem is using these formulas, meaning you should know which variable means what. So if you remember this formula and you're like, okay, 2u sine theta alpha minus theta by g cos theta. A problem is given, you don't know what is alpha, what is theta, that will create a problem. The problem is not with u or g, because that is pretty much simple. Speed and g will be known to you or given to you. Problem is alpha and theta. What are they? Remember, alpha is always the angle of projection. I'll just put it over here. This alpha, which you see over here, or here, or here, or even here. This alpha is the total angle of the projection with the horizontal. Is the total angle. I'll just repeat. Alpha is basically that total angle of the projection velocity with the horizontal. With the horizontal. Very, very important. What is theta? What is theta? Which you can see over here, 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 as well as here. Theta is the inclination of the plane with respect to the horizontal. So think of it like this. If this is theta, your inclined plane is there, your plane is there, inclined plane is there, right? And here you have your horizontal. So that angle is basically theta. Understood? So if you remember this, using these formulas will be much simpler. Much simpler. Got it, my dear warriors? Very good, very good. Keep it up, keep it up. Now, do you see these formulas look very similar to the usual time formula? Usual time formula was 2u sin theta by g. Here it will be sin, alpha minus theta by g cos theta. That's all. So that is all you need to know, that this theta has now been changed to alpha minus theta, and here also instead of g you have g cos theta, where theta is the angle of inclination with the horizontal. Same thing, this is u square sin square angle by 2g. Instead of g you have g cos, and instead of just theta it is alpha minus theta. Same thing with range, 2u square sin theta cos theta by g cos square theta. Usual formula was 2u sin theta cos theta by g. So sin cos has two different things inside, alpha minus theta, alpha, and instead of just g you have g cos square theta. That's all that is different. Okay, they are very similar looking formulas. Now if this is for up the incline, down the incline, it is exactly the same, just that wherever you see minus, you now replace it with plus. Okay, so you replace it with plus here, plus here, plus here. Everything else remains the same. How do you remember whether it was minus or plus? Very simple. If you are going up, what will people do? They will try to pull you down. They will try to bring everything down. So minus sign. And if you are going down, then people will try to motivate you. So you put plus sign. That's a simple way of remembering it, but you can find your own unique way to remember these signs. Okay, I just gave you a simple example. If you are going up in life, people will try to pull you down, so minus sign. If you are going down, then people will try to motivate you and they will give you a positive sign over here. Is that okay? Simple way to remember it. Great. Moving on now to some questions. Projectile is thrown at 30 degrees horizontal, speed given, speed at 2 seconds from the start will be. This was asked in 2023. So first imagine a diagram like this. What is it? 30 degree, speed 40. This is 30. Okay, and at 2 seconds, at t is equal to 2 seconds, obviously it will have one x velocity, it will also have some y velocity, and it will have some total velocity. This will be vx, this will be vy, and this will be total. X velocity will be the same, it will be constant, it will not change. It will be the horizontal component, which is 40 cos 30. Cos 30 is a root 3 by 2, so it will be 20 root 3 is vx. 20 root 3 is vx. Okay, next finding vy. Vy, I will use vy is uy plus ayt, kinematic equation. Why did I use the first equation? Because I know time is given as 2 seconds, so I wanted time and a velocity relation. So first equation is the most suitable one. Initial velocity is not 0, it is basically 40 is not cos, sine component, so sine 30. Acceleration is down. Remember, if I taking upwards as positive, acceleration is down, so negative. Time is basically 2, so 40 sine 30. Sine 30 is half, 40 into half is 20, minus 20, oh my god, 20 minus 20 is basically 0. That means it has already reached the topmost point at 2 seconds. So the actual speed will be just 20 root 3, which is option number A. Got it, everyone? So there is no there is no y velocity, only x velocity is there. So the total velocity will just be this. That means that is the topmost point of the projectile motion. Many students get scared. Sir, I got 0 in the exam. I thought something was wrong. I thought I did some mistake in the sign. So even when you have done it correctly, people have done this. They put deliberately plus thinking, sir, something I only might have done wrong. How pavam, that examiner, how can he be wrong? I am only wrong. So they got this as 40. This is 40. This is 20 root 3. Use vector addition, Pythagoras, and get some weird answer. Don't do such things. If you are correct, you are correct. If the examiner is wrong, you will get bonus marks. but be confident. So that's why I solve many questions. That confidence level should be there. The command should be there on the subject. A cricketer can throw a ball to a maximum horizontal distance 100. How high above the ground can the same cricketer throw the same ball with the same speed? So maximum range is given, maximum height will be how much? Okay. Yes, I'm so happy, Hyper King, for you. Thank you so much. I'm always there for all of you, and I'll be meeting you all soon again as well. Once your results are out, we'll have a grand celebration, grand party, and this happens every year at Vedantu. All the students are called, all the teachers are there. It's really a fun day. So I'm really hoping to meet all of you very soon. It's just a matter of few months. Put in all that hard work and everything will happen. Okay, so maximum distance is 100 meters. That means you are throwing it at 45 degree. Only then you can go as far as possible. This is for maximum range. And for maximum range, the formula will be u square sine 2 into 45 divided by g. This range is given to be 100. So u square by g sine 90 is basically 1. So u square by g is 100. That is what I got from here. Perfect. Now the question is, how high can the same ball be thrown? So if the same cricketer throws the ball up with the same speed, it will go up like this. So this is the maximum height he can throw it. And the formula for maximum height is u square by 2g. Best part is I know the value of u square by g, the value of u square by g, and that is nothing but 100. So this is nothing but 50 meters. So hence the correct answer should be 50 meters. Is that right, everyone? Got it? Yeah, very easy. So if you notice, when I'm solving these questions, I'm not actually finding the value of u. Why? Because mentally I know that, I will be needing u square by g somewhere in the near future. I don't need the value of u. And this happens at many places. If you remember one question on, I think, breaking distance, I left the value as 2AD. I did not find the value of D or A because I think I knew that most likely I need the value of AD or 2AD later on. So this comes after solving many problems. You cannot expect, to get it at the first stage or level 1. After you solve quite a few questions, okay, I think I'll need the square value or the product value altogether, not the individual values, all those things. Moving on. Two bodies are projected from the ground with the same speed, okay, at two different angles. The bodies were found to have same range. Yes, if the range is same, that means the angles are complementary. So if one of the angle is 60, then the other angle will be 30 degree. That is obvious. See, if the range is same and one of the angle is 60, so if I say theta 1 is basically 60 degrees, then naturally theta 2 will be 30 degrees because the range is same. So for the same range, the angles should be complementary. That is one thing. Speeds are same, okay. The sum of the maximum heights is how much? Sum of the maximum heights. In the first case, the maximum height will be u square, I just put the formula, u square sine square theta by 2g. So u is 40, sine square 60 by 2 into 10. So I can take 40 square, which is 1600 by 20 over here, and this will be sine square 60. Sine square 60, sine 60 is root 3 by 2, so this will be 3 by 4. That is h1. Similarly, you can also find h2 using the same formula. U is 40 square, so sine square 30 by 2 into g, which is 10. So 1600 by 20, and sine 30 is half, so this will be 1 by 4. So now the last step of this, which is h1 plus h2. When I add this and this, 1600 by 20 and 4 is common. 1600 by 20 into 4 is common. And here I have 3, here I have 1. So it will be 3 plus 1. It will be 3 plus 1. The best part is 3 plus 1 is 4. 4 cancels. This 0 will cancel. So this will just become 80. So answer should be 80, I believe. Yes, it is 80. It is 80. Correct? Very good. They did not mention vertically, that is why theta was 45 degree in the previous question. Yes, over here, the cricketer can throw a ball to a maximum horizontal distance. Read the question very nicely, you will understand. Maximum horizontal. That is why it is not vertical. And that's why I am considering it as projectile motion, not vertical motion. For the second part, read it carefully. The what height above the ground can the cricketer throw the same ball with the same speed? To what height above the ground? Notice that maximum height above the ground can the cricketer throw. Obviously, to increase the height, you will not throw it at an angle. You will use maximum force in the vertical direction. So you will project it in 90 degrees. That means vertical free fall motion, 1D motion. Okay, I hope this is clear. Very nice. Let's move on to the next question. 2023 trajectory equation, x and y measured in meters, maximum height. This is also a very common kind of question where an equation is given of trajectory, and then they ask you, you know, find the height, find the angle and such things. First of all, whenever you see such an equation, you will realize they are quadratic equation. That means it will be parabola, which is the case for any projectile motion. It has to be quadratic equation because the motion is parabolic always. Next important thing, x and y is measured in meters. Okay, fine. Maximum height attained by it. So whenever you have a quadratic equation like this over here as it is given, you can see that this coefficient of the square term is negative. That means it will not be a U-shaped parabola, it will be an inverted U shape. If the coefficient was positive, it will be upward parabola. Coefficient is negative, it will be downward parabola. Number one. Number two, there is no constant term. That means the graph must pass through origin. So it will be basically like this. Oh, now what have they asked? They have asked basically what is the maximum height. What is the maximum height? So basically this is what they have asked. They have asked you the y max coordinate. So basically when they ask you h, what they are asking you, what is the maximum y coordinate? And at this point, yeah, this is the vertex of the parabola. Everybody knows how to do it now. Yes, this is now like a standard parabola question. So at this particular point, you know dy by dx is 0. Dy by dx is 0 because the slope is 0. So therefore, derivative, which is derivative of x minus x square by 20. This method you can also use for cubic equation, quadratic, any other equation also is going to be 0. So x's derivative is 1, 2x's derivative is 2x, and this is 20 is equal to 0. So from this you will get 1 minus x by 10 is equal to 0. So x by 10 is equal to 1. So x is equal to 10 meters. So when you want to find y, use this equation. So which is x minus x square by 20. Substitute the value of x as 10. So 10 minus 10 square by 20. So this will be 10 minus 100 by 20 is basically 5. So it will be basically 5 meters. So just check it out. Yes, the answer is 5 meters. Got it? Straightforward. Very good. Moving on to the next question. Please remember this method you can also use for any other curve. Even if it was cubic, some sine logarithmic function is there. There also you can use it. It's just using the concept of maxima minima. Nothing more. You just visualize the graph. Think what have they asked. Maximum height means maxima most likely they have asked. So if you use little bit of mathematics application of derivatives part, then you can easily solve it. Okay, cool. Moving on. Object is thrown horizontally from point A of a tower, hits the ground 3 seconds later. The line from A to B makes an angle of 30. The initial speed of the particular object will be how much? That is the question. See, this is 30 degree. I don't know the height. Is it given? No. But one thing is given. It hits after 3 seconds. That means the time of flight is given. Height is not given. I think we can find the height. I think the time of flight formula, we know it is the root of 2 times h by g. Time is given to be 3. This is root of 2h by g. G is 10. So 9 will be 2h by 10. So 2h will be, or basically I can do one more thing. This 2 by 10, I can write it as 1 by 5. 1 by 5, right? 2 and 10 cancels. This will become 5. So h will be nothing but 45 meters. That is the value of h I got. What next? What is the speed? That is the question. If h is 45, okay, just think about it. If h is 45, can I find the base? Why not? Use trigonometry. Use trigonometry. I can see that tan 30 will be opposite side by the base. Opposite side by the base. So the base of this particular triangle will be 45 divided by tan 30, which is 1 by root 3. That means it is 45 root 3 meters. That is the base. So this is 45 root 3. This is 45 root 3 meters. So what is next? I know the range now from the foot of the hill to where the ball will land. So use the range formula. Range is speed into time. Range is 45 root 3. Speed I don't know. Time is given to be 3. 45 by 3 is 15. So 15 root 3 is u. So u is basically 15 root 3 meters per second. That's how you solve it. Little bit of trigonometry. Application of the formulas. That's it. You get the answer. Go step by step. Go step by step. Okay. Avinash, you're in 11th standard, or are you in 10th moving 11th, or you're at 12th planning to take a drop? Let me tell you, all my classes of 11th and 12th are available when you take either offline or online course. All my classes, 11th and 12th standard, all the chapters of physics. I have taught the entire syllabus and I had recorded it in a format called as artificial live, meaning you feel that I am live, but I know it is recorded and you also know it is recorded. But I keep that in mind because when I'm teaching live, I'm slightly in a different zone. When I'm teaching recorded, I know that, at this point, this doubt will come. I know after this student will ask, or maybe most students will think of this type of question also, or this question might arise. So this question is needed after this. So thinking about all these things, only I have given all these recordings, and every year students make the best use of it. So when you are part of either offline or online, there is a facility called as 𝑯𝑨𝑽𝑬. 𝑯𝑨𝑽𝑬. In that 𝑯𝑨𝑽𝑬, or basically in the extra content in the dashboard, when you click on it, extra material, extra content, you will see physics, chemistry, maths, or physics, chemistry, bio, depending on JEE NEET. You get all the lectures, okay, of the best teachers. So these recordings are of the known best teachers which you will find, and they are provided to you. So you will get it, okay? So irrespective of the match, that is the best part. Any direct relation between Hmax and range? Supriya, see, this is a very good question you asked, and many students make a small mistake. Where is that question? This question especially. I'll tell you why they make a mistake. There is another question which is there in JEE, and that question says, when your range is maximum, what is the height? So when your range is maximum, you are at 45 degree. So the R max is u square by g into sine 2 into 45. So it is basically u square by g. In this situation, the height which you get in this situation will be u square sine square theta. Theta is 45 divided by g. So it will be u square sine 45 is 1 by root 2, square it by g, which is u square. Oh, sorry, this 2 is also there. I forgot that. 2 into 2 will become 4. So that is the height. But I know u square by g is basically range max. So it is 1/4 of the maximum range. Now, this part of the problem, many people by heart. And what happens? You will think, oh, the maximum height is 1/4 the range. Now, if you use the same concept in this problem, the range is 100. 1/4 of 100 is 25 meters. You will see it is very different from 50 meters. That is why understanding is very important. When to use what? See, this problem is the height reached when the range is maximum. Meaning when you are going in that projectile, then in that projectile, what is that height reached? Maximum height reached. But that is not the maximum height possible, because you have not thrown it with the intention of maximum height, you have thrown it with the intention of maximum range. But when you throw it with the intention of maximum height, then you will not throw it like this, you will throw it vertically up. Then this height will also increase. This is not the maximum height. The maximum height will be when you throw it like this, and that's where 1D motion will come into play, and the answer will be different. Got it? So sometimes they might look very familiar to you, but it will not be familiar because there are some hidden things. You have to understand, decode the problem properly. That's all. Yes, definitely, Siva, you can see my nurture preparation. Yes, AI live as well. Yes. I will come to that Uchuk later on. Yeah. We'll have counseling sessions. For now, let's concentrate only on getting the marks as much as possible. So that is why I'm not, telling you so much about the counseling part, because or else you will go in a completely different zone. A child stands on the edge of a cliff some meters above, throws a stone horizontally, some speed, neglect a resistance, speed with which the stone hits the ground will be. This is again standard. So you're throwing it with some speed. Obviously, it will have the same horizontal speed, which is basically how much? 5 meters per second. The only thing additionally it will get is the vertical speed, and that vertical speed is root of 2gh. So 2 into 10 into height, 10. So this will become 10 root 2, but that is not the total speed. The total speed will be root of x component square, that means 5 square, plus the y component square, that means what is it, 10 root 2 squares, that means 100 into 2. So what is it going to be? Basically 200 plus 25, 225. 225's root will come, root of 225, which is basically 15, which is option D. Yes, D is the correct answer. Got it? So this kind of question can also come about the total speed while it hits the ground. Great, great. Moving ahead to the next question coming up on your screen. This is a question on inclined plane projection, I think, because the plane inclination angle is given to be 45 degree with the horizontal. How far from the point of projection will the ball strike? Always start with a simple diagram. This is your ground level. This is your ground. And how are you throwing? From the top of the plane. Okay, so if this is the inclined plane, you are throwing it from the top. So, but how are you throwing it is also very important. At an angle, oh, the ball is thrown horizontally. Interesting. So the ball is thrown horizontally. That means like this. So it goes like that, and maybe it falls over here. Question is, how far from the point of projection will the ball strike? That means basically they are asking you what the range is going to look like. This horizontal speed is already given, v. Now the inclination angle is 45 degree. That is also mentioned, 45 degree. Here, be careful of the angle of projection. Inclination angle is 45. Can somebody tell me what is the angle of projection? What is that angle of projection? Ritesh, I am coming to Hyderabad on 24th. Okay. All the babus, please come. All the garus. Okay. Come on 24th to Hyderabad center. With your parents, alone, with your brothers, sisters, friends, everyone. Everybody is invited. So, no, it is not 45 degree. It is 0 because it is the angle made with the horizontal. So, remember, the angle of projection is not 45 degree. It is actually 0 degree because the velocity is parallel to the ground level. That is the concept. So, it is 0 degree. Always it is measured with respect to horizontal. Remember that. Yep. Chennai after that, after 24th only. So I'll announce the dates. First, the plan is only for the next week. So now when you actually find using the range formula is 2 into u square, u is v, into sine of the difference of, sorry, here addition of the angles. So it will be 0 plus 45, and you also have cos over here. Here you have cos over here. So cos of 0 upon g cos square angle of projection, angle of incline, which is 45 degree. So this will become 2v square. Sine 45 is 1 by root 2. Cos 0 is 1. G is as it is. Cos 45 is 1 by root 2. Square of that is half. So this will become, 2 will go on the top, 4v square by root 2g. Root 2g. This is what you are going to get. But I think you have to rationalize it, then it will be better. So it will become 2 into v square by root 2g. So root 2 cancels, it will become 2 root 2 v square by g. 2 root 2 v square by g, which is option D. Yes, that is the correct answer. Got it? So you have to be very careful while choosing the angles. That's what I mentioned it in the formula. See, by hearting is one thing, but using it is another thing. Yes, alpha is 0, theta is 45, correct. Yep. Fill the forms, Sadhvai. Fill the forms for 3G, everything, because we already have centers, already teachers are there, some batches are being continuing over there. So make sure you fill the form so that we teachers can also come over there. Only when you fill our forms, then then we can ask everyone, our management, to come over there. So that is why I said not only you should fill the form, but also spread the form in your society, within your friends. If I see suddenly 3G, 100, 200 students are very interested, why not? I will definitely be coming there. A ball is thrown from the ground, certain angle, so that its range and maximum height are equal. Very nice question. What is the value of the tan theta? What is the value of the tan theta? Very nice question coming up on your screen. So you are throwing it at some angle from the ground level. Let's say this is theta and this is 15 meters per second. It so happens that as it goes up and comes down, the range and maximum height are equal. That means whatever is this h is equal to this particular range, Very nice question. So the range is equal to the maximum height, What is the formula for range? The formula for range is 2u square sine theta cos theta, the whole thing divided by g. What is the formula for height? For height, the formula is u square sine square theta by 2g. Many things are going to get cancelled, like this g, u square, sine theta, 1 of the sine theta. What is remaining is 2 cos theta is equal to sine theta by 2. Take that 2 over there, bring cos over here. So 4 will be sine theta by cos theta. That means tan theta will be 4, or tan inverse of 4. So tan theta will be 4. Yes, that is the answer, which is option D. Okay, very nice question where height and range are equal. Some relationship is there between the height and the range. Cool. Shall we proceed ahead? Thank you. 𝑯𝑗𝑎 is eagle. What is 𝑯𝑗𝑎? What is that short form for? Am I not realizing what 𝑯𝑗𝑎 is, or is it some name? Right. Moving ahead. So we have done quite a few questions, my dear warriors, on projectile motion, vertical 1D. Now it's time to go to relative motion, where you sit on one moving body and look at another moving body, or something is moving with respect to you and something else is moving with respect to that. So the new or the final body's motion you are seeing with respect to the original frame of reference. So displacement, velocity, acceleration, they can be relative, but things like time, force, all these things are non-relativity things. Although this is not a correct statement, in Einstein theory of relativity when time is relative, but we are ignoring those relativity effects for JEE purposes. Okay, but in reality there is a small change in time which we neglect, and it is okay to neglect because it hardly makes any difference for our day-to-day motion. Forget that. But displacement can be relative, velocity can be relative, acceleration can be relative, but force is not relative. Remember that. Time is not like that. Okay. So what is the general definition of relative motion? So position of object B with respect to A is position of B minus position of A. This is a vector subtraction equation. That means you need to be very well versed with vector addition and subtraction. This is one of the major drawbacks whenever students study relative motion in 2D. If you are not well versed, or if you have not understood vector addition and subtraction, you cannot do it very easily. You will face problem in Rayman and riverboat problems, which are vectors, kinematics in 2D relative. So be well versed, understand those concept of vector subtraction is what I would say. This is vector B minus vector A. Velocity of object B with respect to A. So how do you read it? Is whichever variable is first is what you are looking at. So you are looking at B. What is A? A, or the second variable, is always from where are you seeing it? That means frame of reference. That is VB minus VA. Acceleration of B with respect to A is again AB minus A. So R12 is R1 minus R2, V12 is V1 minus V2, A12 is A1 minus A2. This also means one more thing, that this will also be negative of RAB. This will be also negative of VAB. This will also be negative of, this will also be negative of AAB, right? This will be negative. So when you change the perspective, so you make the observer the object and the object the observer, then you will say that there will be a minus sign. Meaning, if I am Pandu and Champa is coming towards me, so if Champa is coming towards me with a speed of 5 meters per second, for Champa, Pandu will come with a speed of minus 5 meters per second, basically opposite, but magnitude will be same. That's how you will understand this minus sign. You can use kinematic equations also in relative motion. So let me just mention that point over here. Kinematic equations are valid. Kinematic equations are basically valid, but there is a catch, and the catch is relative acceleration should be, constant. Relative acceleration should be constant. Only when that acceleration is constant can you use the kinematic equations in relative motion. Keep this in mind. Cool. Now you get two major problems. One is riverboat, one is rain river problems. Riverboat rain river problems, and not rain river, rainman problems. So these are the two major type of problems that you basically get in 2D relative. There are certain types of questions which also involve closest distance of approach, where somebody is going like this, another person is going like this, or another person is going like this. Okay, one is going here, another is going here. Question will be, when are they closest? If this is 1, this is 2. All you need to do is make somebody your frame of reference. Let's say you make object number 2 as your frame of reference, as your frame of observation or frame of reference. So from that particular frame, which means you will be at rest, you measure the relative velocity. Maybe the relative velocity after solving this, maybe just showing this randomly over here. So this is V1, this is V2. So relative velocity of 1 with respect to 2 will be V1 minus V2. V1 is here, V2, take the negative of it. Negative V2 will be like this. This will be negative V2. So V1 minus V2. Just take the negative of it. So V1 is over here, negative V2 is, let's say, like this. negative v2 is like this, then you will get the relative velocity. You will probably get the relative velocity. Let's say it is like this. So this is your v12 example, relative velocity of 1 with respect to 2. Show that relative velocity of 1 with respect to 2, and let's say it is like this. You just drop a perpendicular. You just drop a perpendicular. This is the least distance of approach. This is the least distance of approach. So think of it like this. You are standing on a bus at a bus stop. There is a bus which goes besides you, or a truck or a car. When is that car, the truck or that vehicle closest to you? When you drop a perpendicular, on the path of it. But that is when you are at rest. So that is why when two moving objects are there, you make one object at rest by considering relative motion and then draw a perpendicular on their relative motion line. That will give you the minimum or the closest distance. I hope this is clear. I'm so glad, Ritesh, you scored full on full. Wow. Hats off. Congratulations, Ritesh. Full marks for Ritesh in 11th standard physics. Looks like you have been following Nurture series. Okay. So riverboat questions. Riverboat questions will have questions like, you want to cross the river, how much time will it take? How much drift will occur? Or you want to cross it with minimum drift, or you want to cross it in shortest time. These are standard varieties. What happens in general in river boat problems is that the person will be swimming or the person will be driving the boat at certain angle. The river will be flowing with certain speed, let's say VR. VBR is the velocity of the boat with respect to the river. So the actual velocity of the boat minus the velocity of the river will be velocity of the boat with respect to the river. V12 is V1 minus V2. So VB will be velocity of the boat with respect to the river plus velocity of the river. Shift this term on this side. This is the main governing equation which is needed. So usually this is the velocity of the boat or the swimmer in still water. That is what is usually given. And this is velocity of the flow of the river. This is the actual velocity of the boat as seen from the bank. Of the river. So these are the terms. Now remember one thing, whenever time has to be calculated to cross the river, only consider that component which is perpendicular to the flow, or basically perpendicular to the banks, because this velocity will have multiple components, but this component will not help you cross the river. It will make you go here or here. This is the component which will help you cross the river. So usually when I say the time taken to cross, I write it like this. Take the velocity which is perpendicular upon the distance between the banks. So the distance between the banks is omega. So you can put W or the width, whatever you want to call it. So this is the width of the river. That is how you calculate the time to cross. Now, when you are having a velocity at an angle, a part of the velocity helps you cross, but a part of the velocity here along with the river flow will either make you go this way or that way. If the speed of the river is more, then you will go like this and you will land here. If the horizontal component of the boat is more, then you will probably go and reach over here. So you might end up drifting and reaching somewhere. This might probably be your net velocity. Which is VB, and you might end up reaching over here. So there is always some drift involved. And this drift is given by, remember, distance is speed into time. So drift is also a distance. So it is the velocity in the parallel direction, or I would say x direction, whichever you want to use, into the time taken to cross. What is the total velocity in the x direction? That means this velocity. What is this velocity? V parallel. So I'm going with this velocity, and how much time am I going? Forever, whatever time I have spent in the river, which is the time taken to cross. So that will give you the drift. Drift is horizontal speed into the time I spend in the river. That's all. That is what you have to do. Don't by heart these questions. Don't by heart these formulas like I have shown over here. Never. Just remember this yellow part and this blue part. That's it. You will be able to solve the questions. The two special cases are when you want to, oh, I somehow read it as Batman. It was boatman. Yeah. The boatman crosses the river in the shortest time and in the shortest, path. There are two cases. When you want to cross in the shortest time, you will try to, make your strokes of swimming perpendicular to the flow, or the boat will be, being propelled perpendicular to the flow. So your actual velocity will be here and you will end up reaching over here. So there will be definitely some amount of drift. There will be definitely some amount of drift. Keep this in mind. When you go in the shortest time, you will use your maximum effort to cross, not waste any amount to go this side or that side. Your main focus is to reach the other side as quickly as possible. So this flow will not matter. Same way, when you want to cross just at the shortest path, that means exactly opposite point. So the shortest path is always a straight line. So you need to counter the flow of the river. So you will choose an angle slightly over here so that you can balance the flow of the river, so that your resultant velocity is like this, and you end up over here with no drift, without any drift. And in that case, you can again use trigonometry over here and get the relationship between the speeds. You can get the relationship between the speeds. No need to by heart any of this. Just use triangle law or basically trigonometry. That's all. We'll see some questions. You will get some idea. Last thing is Rainman problems. Okay. So for Rainman problems, remember one thing. You will be given the speed with which the person is moving. You might be given the speed with which the rain is falling with respect to the person or actually. And then you might be asked at what angle will you hold the umbrella. So remember this equation, VR minus VM is VRM. VRM is VR minus VM, V12 is V1 minus V2. This is actual velocity of the rain. This is actual velocity of the person. This is the relative velocity of the rain with respect to the person. So if it is given that the man or that person is actually walking like this over here, and maybe the rain is falling at certain angle like this, this is how the rain's velocity might be given to you. First do VR minus VM. VR is like this. Let's say this is your VR. Minus VM means negate this. So take a negative vector of velocity of the man. Now do vector addition, because vector subtraction is vector addition at the end of the day of a negative vector. So you might probably see VRM vector like this. This is VRM vector. So this vector tells me how I should hold the umbrella. So that means I should hold the umbrella stick parallel to VRM so that I do not get wet. So for the actual person who is traveling, he will find the rain. He will actually find the rain coming in this particular direction. This is his apparent observation. He will, or the person will find the rain to fall along basically VRM, along VRM. This is the manner in which you should hold the stick of the umbrella. That's all you need to do. Grishma, I'm coming to Vizag on 23rd. Please tell your friends in your school, your batchmates, your cousins, your colony friends, neighbors, everyone. Shreyas Sir is coming to Vizag. I'm going to be there to meet all of you. So be there on 23rd, okay? The link is there in the description to register yourself for free. There is a workshop. There are going to be guidance, one-on-one sessions with me and the entire team as well. It's not just me. There is a team also which is coming, okay? So be there. Okay, let's do some questions. Train is moving towards the north, this speed. Train B is moving towards south with this speed. What is the velocity of B with respect to A and velocity of ground with respect to B? This was asked in this year, 2024, guys. So 72 and this much, but you have to find it in meters per second. First of all, 72 kilometers per hour into meters per second. Just multiply 72 into 5 by 18. So this will be 20 meters per second. And this one also 108 into 5 by 18. This will go 6 times. So this will be 30 meters per second. So now let's draw the diagram. Train A is going like this with a speed of 20 meters per second. Train B is going towards the south with a speed of 30 meters per second. The speed of train B with respect to A, the velocity of B with respect to A is VB minus VA. VB minus VA, right? So VB is nothing but 30. VA, I will take it as minus 20. Let's say I will take it as minus 20. So in this case, I will get the answer as 50 meters per second. I'll get the answer as 50 meters per second. Now, I think the positive direction is not mentioned right over here. Whatever is the positive direction is not mentioned over here, but usually we take upwards as positive. So if you take upwards as positive, then whatever I have written here will be wrong in sign. Magnitude wise it is fine. So actual velocity of B should be minus 30 and actual velocity of A should be plus 20, assuming upward direction as positive. So then I will get minus 30 minus 20, which is minus 50 meters per second. This is the first answer, the velocity of the train with respect to A. The second question is, what is the velocity of the ground with respect to B? What is the velocity of the ground with respect to B? Think about it. B goes down. B is going like this with respect to the ground frame with a speed of 30 meters per second. This is how the ground will see B. So if you are making yourself as B, then the ground will appear to come towards you with a speed of 30 meters per second. With a speed of 30 meters per second. So hence the second answer should be 30 with a positive sign because upwards is positive. So answer will be minus 50 and 30. Minus 50 and 30. Yes. So that is option B, assuming upwards as positive. I'm so glad, King. I'm so glad you've been associated for such a long time. Moving on to the next question coming up on your screen. The driver of a train sees another train in the same direction, but it is slower. The train A applies brakes at a retardation of this much. What is the minimum distance between the trains to avoid the accident? So if you visualize, there is a train which is going at 25 meters per second. There is another train ahead moving slightly slowly, 15 meters per second. And there is some distance which is there between them. You have to maintain a safe distance so that he can brake appropriately. Question is, if the retardation of this particular train is 1 meters per second square, only A is applying the brake. Please remember that. B driver is not applying the brake. Question is, what is the minimum distance so that they can avoid the collision? So this is your A and this is your B. Either sit on A or sit on B. Either one will do. It's up to you how you want to solve the problem. Let us say I sit on B and solve the problem. My frame of reference is B. So everything should be measured from B's frame. Like for example, what is the initial velocity of A with respect to B? It will be UA minus UB. Initial velocity of A is 25. Initial velocity of B is 15. Both are in the same direction. So positive, positive. So this will become 10 meters per second. Then find acceleration of A with respect to B. A acceleration is -1. Be careful. Or I can just put it over here. AA minus AB. So it is -1 for A. What is the acceleration for B? Oh, B is not even accelerating. So it is just 0. So -1 minus 0. So it is just going to be -1 meters per second square. That's another thing. The relative distance between them, displacement of A with respect to B. Don't use SA minus SB, not needed. You can directly visualize. If you are in the slow moving train, look behind. The fast moving train is coming towards you. You are in train B. Assume yourself, visualize yourself to be at rest. You will see the fast moving train coming close to you and finally stop. So how much distance has it moved? Whatever was the separation has been covered up by the fast moving train. Whatever was the separation has been covered up by the fast moving train. So the displacement relative to the slow moving train is just going to be D, guys. Is that clear? Everybody with me? Very good. So which equation will you use now? S is equal to ut plus half at square. No, I don't know the time. In fact, I want to find the distance and all of that. So I'll use v square is u square plus 2as in the relative frame. You might be wondering, sir, what is the final velocity? Well, the final velocity of A with respect to B should be 0. Why? Because the train should avoid the accident. So if you are sitting on the train B, if the train A has the same speed as of you, that means the relative velocity is 0. So you will avoid the collision. That's all, right? You will avoid the collision if the final relative speed is 0. So final relative speed is 0. Initial speed, how much is it? 10 square plus 2 into acceleration is -1. Displacement is basically D. Bring this over here. 2D will be 10 square, which is 100. So D will be 50 meters. So minimum 50 meters distance is needed to avoid the collision. Is that clear, my dear warriors? Perfect. So we have used the third equation. Second equation needed time, so I avoided the second equation. And like I said, you can also use kinematic equations in relative motion. Supriya, in the previous question, can option D be also right? Yes, even D also can be right, because if I take downwards as positive, then I'll get 50 and -30. In the question, it was not mentioned, at least in the printed slide over here. Maybe in the actual JEE Mains paper, it was mentioned. So, I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt that most likely upwards was taken as positive, or else it will be truly a bonus question, because even B is correct and D is correct. Okay, so that is something which we need to see. Okay, this is done. Man standing on the road has to hold the umbrella 30 degrees with the vertical to keep the rain away. That means he finds the rain to come at 30 degrees with the vertical. That is his apparent observation. He throws the umbrella, starts running. Okay, so when he runs, then the relative motion of the rain will be slightly different. The raindrops will then, yes, see, it is falling vertically. Find the velocity of the rain with respect to the ground. Usually, whenever two situations are given in Rainman problems, you will see that there will be two triangles. You will be like, why triangles? Because there will be vectors subtraction, and whenever vector subtraction is there, you will be using usually triangle law or parallelogram. But anyways, you can make a triangle. And because there are two situations, you will have two triangles for two triangle laws, and using these two triangles, using little bit geometry, you will get the answer. So let's try to do it. Okay. First situation, what is it? The rain actually is falling. Actually, it is falling at 30 degrees with the vertical. So let us just say this is how the actual velocity of the rain is, making angle 30 degrees. Making angle 30 degrees. Okay. Okay, 30 degrees over here. And to keep the rain away, he throws the umbrella and starts running at 10 kilometers per hour. So maybe the first case, this is the only thing which is needed. Okay, he will actually find it like that. And the second case, he starts moving with some velocity. With what velocity? 10 kilometers per hour. He finds that the rain falls at a direction which is vertically down. Okay, so I don't know which direction is going, but he will find the rain to fall vertically down like this. So VRM should be downwards. VRM should be downwards. How do you make sure VRM is down? Which direction should he move? We know VRM is technically VR with negative Vm. VR with negative Vm. So VR is as it is. VR is as it is plus. Look at this. You put a plus over here. You take a negative vector of man's velocity. Oh. So VR vector is as it is. VR vector is as it is only the negative velocity of the man which will come like this. So this is minus Vm. Then you can say triangle law can be applied. VR vector plus Vm vector with negative sign gives you VRM vector. Triangle law. A vector plus B vector is C vector. A vector plus B vector is your C vector, the yellow one. Got it? That's all. You just have to use triangle law and vector addition, subtraction, nothing more. If this is minus Vm, actually the person will be moving like this. Actually the person will be moving like this. Oh, so I have drawn two diagrams to understand it properly. And now we can solve the problem. Find the velocity of the rain with respect to the man. It is given Vm is 10. So minus Vm magnitude will also be 10. Minus Vm magnitude will also be 10. This is perpendicular. Also, it is given that this is 30 degree, my dear warriors. So find the velocity of the rain with respect to the road. That means VR is asked. So use basically sine 30. So sine 30 will be VR divided by opposite side, which is 10. So VR will be sine 30, which is half into 10. So this will be 5. So the answer should be 5. Oops. Did I do something wrong? Opposite by... Oh, so sorry. What did I just do? I took the reverse. Sine 30 is opposite. Opposite was 10. Opposite was 10. And hypotenuse was VR. Hypotenuse was VR. So therefore, VR, take it on the top. So it will be 10 divided by sine 30. Sine 30 is half. So it will become 20. So answer is 20. Got it? Everyone with me? Clear till this point? Yes, perfect. Perfect. There is another beautiful question. Let's do, okay, which is going to come up on your screen. Let's see. It comes here. Yes, so I had added this question because I found it to be little bit different, but it is actually a Rain Man problem. See this. A pipe which can rotate in vertical plane is mounted on a cart, and this cart moves at the horizontal speed of 2. So horizontal speed of 2, and you can choose the angle. So you have to choose the angle in such a way so that the drops of the rain which are falling at 6 meters per second are parallel to the axis of the pipe without touching the walls. Meaning, visualize this. If this is your pipe like this, the raindrops should directly go like that. The raindrops should directly go like that, okay, without touching the walls. And this can only happen if the raindrops are falling relative to the pipe like this. So velocity of the rain with respect to the man. Here the pipe is the man. Take the pipe only as the man, is like the man. And the angle at which you hold the pipe is like holding the stick of the umbrella. Is like holding the stick of the umbrella. So you can actually think of the pipe as the umbrella, which is being held by the man, and the trolley, and this particular trolley as that man holding that pipe or that umbrella. That's how you can visualize it as. Oh, now it is simple. If VRM is what we are actually looking at, so what is happening? Your person person is moving with a speed of 2 meters per second. So 2 meters per second is actually Vm. Then you are going to have the rain which is going to fall vertically with a speed of 6. So your Vr is basically 6 meters per second. So when you do Vr minus Vm, Vr is like this, which is 6 minus Vm means take the negative of this, take the negative of this. So minus Vm, magnitude wise it is still 2. I will get this, which is Vrm, which is Vrm. Question is at what angle to the horizontal? So question is exactly this. What is this theta? So I can use tan theta over here. So tan theta in this particular triangle is opposite by adjacent. Opposite is 6, adjacent is 2. That means it is 3. So theta is tan inverse of 3. So if you hold it at tan inverse of 3 angle, you will see that the raindrops won't touch the walls of the pipe. That's all. So that is a equivalent question. It looks different, but actually at the end of the day, it is a Rain Man problem only. Loved the question? Loved the question? Right? Everybody with me? Cool? So it was like a Rain Man question. Moving on to another question coming up on your screen. A man can swim with some speed in still water. How long will it take to cross this river if the river is flowing at this speed and he wants to make the strokes normal to the river current? How far down the river does he go when he reaches the other bank? Okay, let's draw the diagram. It will be very simple. So this is the banks of the river. Is the river width given? Yes, it is given. It is 1 kilometer. 1 kilometer. Okay. And he starts to move perpendicular. I think it is mentioned normal to the river current. That means the person is trying to swim this way with a speed of how much? 4. So this is 4 kilometers per hour. But the river will take him like this. With what speed? River flow is 3 kilometers per hour. So this will be 3 kilometers per hour. So his resultant velocity will be like this. This will be the total velocity like that. And because of that, he will end up going and reaching over here. Actually, if no flow of the river was there, he would have reached over here. Okay. So first things first, the time taken to cross is, remember, the perpendicular velocity divided by the width of the river. Perpendicular velocity by the width of the river. What is the perpendicular velocity? Only 4, 3 is horizontal. It's not perpendicular to the flow. So it will be just 4 divided by speed, divided by the width, which is 1, right? So I think the time taken to cross 4 kilometers per V, perpendicular is 4, width is 1, time is, I did a mistake, time is distance by speed. I should have done this. This was width. So sorry, by V perpendicular, width is 1, V perpendicular is 4. So 1 by 4 hours. 1 by 4 hours is basically 15 minutes. So this is the time he is going to take to cross. 1 by 4 hours or 15 minutes. Now that's not the only question. The other part of the question will be, what is the, how far down the river does he go when he reaches the other bank? Basically, they are asking you what is the drift going to be. So that drift, remember I had told you, is the velocity which is parallel into the time taken for you to cross. If you notice, in the parallel direction, there is only one component, and that is 3. 4 is perpendicular, it is not parallel. So the parallel velocity will be 3. The time taken to cross is 1 by 4. So it will be basically 3/4 of a kilometer, which is 750 meters. So that should be the answer. 750 meters and 15 minutes. Yes. There you go. Got it? Everyone? Very cool. Let's go to the next. Oh, we are done with questions. Okay, so these were the questions. So I think we have done 1D, 2D and also relative motion. All the concepts I have made you revise, and we have solved lots and lots of varieties of questions. So if you want to solve more questions, remember, you can get your assignments with notes, with DPPs, with tests, part and full. Also, you can get the Tattva material, which has level wise questions with PYQs. So in the last moment, use this, and the best part is you can use the book for BITSAT as well as CUET and other common entrance examinations. Not just that, it has advanced questions as well. So actually this course continues into advanced. So once you qualify mains, you will be in the advanced batch as well. So it's a one shot preparation, complete preparation. You don't have to look anywhere, you don't have to buy anything more. Every material is given to you at just 999 rupees. It includes live teaching. It also includes doubt solving. So I think this is the best batch that you can ask for. You can find anywhere, you can check anywhere, even if it is free of cost, even if it is 1 lakh rupees, I don't think you will get something which is better than this. The reason why I tell you, last year there were more than 2000 students from Vedantu alone who went into IITs. Basically, you can think that hardly there are 10,000 to 15,000 seats which generally get filled up in IITs. So you can imagine the ratio of students who are from Vedantu alone in IITs. Okay, so make your wise choice, make a right decision. It's a very affordable price that you can look for. And yes, please keep watching the classes, because this is now a 2-week challenge. We are already in the second week. Don't give up at this point of time. Okay, just few more days to go. 2-week challenge will be done and we'll come up with the next challenge. Okay, so stay tuned on the channel, like and subscribe and share it with your friends. Bye bye. This is your Captain Shreyas signing off. Hasta la vista.